In today's video, we are going to discuss two polar opposite forms of national security strategy: appeasement versus accountability, or holding a nation or group accountable for their actions. Let's compare and contrast these strategies and learn how they can help us to be better leaders, businessmen, and family members. While the effectiveness of any strategy depends on special circumstances, the nature of the threat, and the willingness of the international community to support the chosen approach, there are some general considerations that are consistently applicable. Appeasement. Appeasement as a national security strategy involves making concessions to an aggressor in the hope of avoiding conflict or war. While it may seem sometimes like a pragmatic approach to maintaining peace, history has shown that appeasement doesn't always work and can have serious consequences. Short-term peace. Appeasement may bring about short-term peace, but often at the expense of long-term stability and security. Loss of credibility. The nation practicing appeasement may lose credibility in the eyes of its allies and the international community, as others may see it as unreliable or lacking the resolve to defend its interest. The risk of perceived weakness. It may be perceived as a sign of weakness, potentially emboldening the aggressor and leading to further demands or aggression. Potential escalation. Instead of preventing conflict, appeasement can sometimes lead to an escalation of aggression, as the aggressor may interpret concessions as a green light for further demands. The moral hazard. Appeasement is a moral hazard because it reinforces the belief that aggressive actions will be tolerated or rewarded. This can and will encourage further aggressive behavior, as the aggressors will learn that there are no serious consequences for their bad behavior. A successful national security strategy typically involves a comprehensive use of the elements of national power, and appeasement, when not carefully considered, can undermine these elements and compromise a nation's security. Now let's move on to holding someone accountable, which I will shorten down to simply accountability. Holding someone accountable for their bad behavior or bad decision is almost always appropriate. When you suffer the consequences, you might think before you act up a second time. And this goes for a person and for a nation. Establishing boundaries. As far as a national strategy, holding a country accountable involves establishing clear boundaries and consequences for actions that threaten national security. Deterrence. Accountability serves as a deterrent to potential aggressors, because they will know that there are consequences for actions that violate international norms or agreements. Long-term stability. Holding a nation accountable seeks to establish long-term stability by discouraging aggressive behavior and promoting adherence to established rules and norms. Maintaining credibility. Taking a firm stance and holding individuals or nations accountable can enhance the credibility of a nation in the eyes of its allies and the international community. International support. If a nation demonstrates a commitment to holding wrongdoers accountable, it may garner international support, which will strengthen alliances and cooperative efforts when addressing future security challenges. Now that we've discussed appeasement versus accountability at the national level, how about in the office? Let's move on to a small business where an underperforming employee is loud and aggressive. The boss appeases him and lets him keep his job. The entire company suffers. Morale continues to decrease as the good employees see that their dirtbag colleague doesn't have to suffer the consequences for his incompetence. Pretty soon the good employees quit and find employment elsewhere. All that remains is the appeasing boss and his below-average but loudmouth employee that he should have fired months ago. On the flip side, a fair boss establishes standards and holds his employees accountable. When someone violates a standard, they suffer the consequences right away. Below-average performers and those with character flaws are kicked to the curb, and the entire business flourishes. Moving on to a family example. Just look around and you will see a million examples of why appeasement fails as a family leadership philosophy. Rather than simply telling them no, parents will do anything to appease their children and prevent them from crying. It's okay, buddy. You can stay up late. Yeah, you can eat more sugar. You don't need to do your homework now. You can do your homework next time. Sure, you can watch that mind-numbing and stupidly ridiculous cartoon from your smartphone for the 500th time. Anything you want, just don't make me parent. But on the other side, you see it right away when a household has accountability. The kids aren't fat. They do their homework. The kids are smart. They have opinions. They have manners and don't interrupt. Kids who are appeased become selfish and are below average. And if they finally do bloom, they bloom late. But kids who are held accountable and grow up with boundaries and are grounded, they get with the program and figure it out. In summary, appeasement and accountability represent contrasting approaches to national, business, and interpersonal relationships. Appeasement relies on concessions and compromise, often with the hope of avoiding conflict, but it carries the risk of being perceived as weak and will almost certainly lead to future drama or aggression. On the other hand, holding someone accountable involves establishing clear boundaries, enforcing consequences, and promoting long-term stability. Let me know what you think about the pros and cons of appeasement or accountability in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to join my Life as a Special Operations team, and be sure to forward this video to a friend who needs to see it. Life is a special operation. Are you ready for it?